Hello and welcome to Outside Xbox, where you're watching Show of the Week. I'm Jane.
Hey, I'm Mike. This week I finally got my hands on the Xbox One X.
Sir, can you please take your hands off the Xbox One X?
Exciting stuff. So what have you been up to?
Oh, I've been commanding an elite squad of special forces, crushing the rebels, and carrying out the orders of Emperor Palpatine.
So you've been playing Battlefront 2?
Oh yeah, that too.
The rebellion cannot be allowed to persist. Ignite the inferno.
So you've been playing Battlefront 2 then?
Yes!
Probably
also
more
that.
Battlefront 2 than anyone on the planet has ever played, right? You played it for 2 solid days.
Probably somewhat, like one developer at DICE who's played more Battlefront 2 than me.
The one they keep in the basement.
Yeah, but I have played rather a lot, and so has Luke.
Yeah?
Actually on Outside Extra.
Kylo.
Yeah?
It's your Uncle Chewie.
What?
I want to have words with you, mate.
What? Why? I mean,
This big, well,
is this about my dad?
I've played so much of it.
So I'm quite
Who wants
excited.
to touch me?
Ooh.
okay.
What's in here? I found it.
Yes, well done,
Found the
Jane.
cantina.
You should be excited.
Good.
I was excited. I remain excited for the game. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What do you want to know?
I want to know primarily about the campaign mode, because this is all new and we're not getting an Amy Hennig campaign game now. All my hopes are now pinned on Iden Versio and Inferno Squad.
You already know her name.
She's Special Forces.
Iden Versio.
That's
Is
a
it
good
good?
start. Well, it is very good. I
Excellent.
will have you know. I'm only allowed to talk about the first 3 chapters, so if you're worried about spoilers, they will not be very big spoilers because they're from very early in the game. So there you go.
I have a visual on the patrol.
Get inside, get
We should slaughter them where they stand.
Rein it in, Agent.
Battlefront 1 obviously had no story single-player campaign, and it was the most requested feature, say the developers, surprising no one. Second was Starfighter Assault, so that's in there as well now. You can play multiplayer Starfighter battles.
Like space battles.
Space battles, and also in Atmosphere as well.
Cool.
Stop them from firing on the Venator's bridges. Get in there.
And then I think the third most requested feature was like Yoda or something.
The force around.
Amazing.
I think that might have been the third item.
Is it because he's totally hacks? I mean,
They
he's
gave
about
us a
this
briefing.
small and like flies around hitting things with the
But we've
lightsaber.
played as him, and I don't think he's hacks at all.
Come on, oh my god. Well, that's something no one wanted to see.
I crushed you like a can.
Talking about the single-player story campaign, Iden Versio, she's a new character. She is an Imperial commander. She commands this Special Forces squad of 3 people called Inferno Squad, which is a pretty sick band name.
That's pretty awesome,
for your crew.
It's like Blazing Squad have been upgraded.
Absolutely. That's a reference that maybe some get.
One person.
Enjoy.
One Blazing Squad fan.
Get me Inferno Squad, now.
It begins around where the Death Star, the second Death
Yes.
Star, has been exploded.
Yes.
You remember that happening?
You
Yeah?
see it on you're on Endor,
You're on
presumably.
Endor, you're down on the Ewok planet.
Right.
And you're like, oh, no, that's
That's
bad.
a bad thing.
Yeah, that shouldn't have happened. That's not how it's meant to go. So that's the kickoff, sorta.
Look alive, agents. We can grieve later. Right now, we need to move.
And then, with the Emperor being dead,
The Emperor's dead.
and that's from the movie, so that doesn't
Yeah.
count as a spoiler.
You're late to the party if you don't know
that's
that.
the 80s, all right? With the Emperor being dead, a plan goes into action. A
Right.
plan he's devised, in case of his death. He's like,
Right.
if you're watching this
His last will and
VHS,
testament.
yeah, I need you to do some things.
Admiral Versio, Operation Cinder is to begin at once.
So you're part of that project.
Yeah.
And so the story begins.
I'm guessing it's just a really nice thing where he just divvies up his vast wealth among his baby children.
Leaves it all to a cat sanctuary.
Yeah, that sounds like
Donkey
like old Palpy.
Rebellion, defiance. These are concepts that cannot be allowed to persist.
It's a little bit of you got to like morally squint at it a little bit, where you're like, okay, my hero character, she's not like out and out evil, but she does wear a pretty evil costume.
Yeah.
There's no argument with
It's all black on black,
and red, shiny.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're trying to pitch yourself as not evil, maybe wear something else, some beiges or creams.
At least she pops the helmet off from time
She
to
does
time, which makes her a little bit more approachable.
But then she's
as
got
an
like
evil.
the sleek evil bun
the evil.
and the amazing skin of a villain.
Today, the rebellion dies.
How does a rational, not just maniacal Emperor Palpatine type person believe in the Empire, right? And so they're like, stability, order, prosperity, not having to think too much about who's in charge. And you're like, yeah, okay, sort of get it.
Yeah, they all have to rally around the fact that, I mean, the guy looks like a goblin, basically, and fires electricity out of his hands.
Yeah,
so there's got to be a bit of a layer of rationalisation going on.
Yeah, well, quite.
Agent Miko, engage those rebel ships.
Yes, Commander. Corvus is on the move.
Stay on him. Blockade runner destroyed.
Did you get to play as Poe Dameron?
We did. He is in the multiplayer, his X-Wing, his like cool black X-Wing. He's there in the multiplayer.
These guys have finished.
So we were playing some Starfighter Assault, and I am traditionally really horrible at anything that involves flying.
Right.
But having played quite a lot of it now, I'm more familiar with the controls, and also it's been partly developed by Criterion.
Oh, cool.
So they've had help from another developer, a developer with more experience with like driving and vehicles.
Yeah.
And for my money, it feels better.
Weapons now online.
Yeah.
The modest amount of flying there was in Battlefront 1, I wasn't super into it, but I had a really good time zooming around on Camino. You remember Camino?
Yeah. I love Camino.
Camino looks amazing because it's all rainy and stormy and the ocean's there. And if you fly upside down, the sea is in the sky and you're like between the sea and, you know, those kind of disc-shaped platforms. You're like between, you're like vroom, zooming between the sea and those platforms. And that's rad.
The bombers are getting through.
I would almost immediately plunge directly into the sea and never come back out.
Well, I did an awful lot of that. There's one map that is like the debris from the exploded Death Star, and it is a nightmare, let me tell you.
Eyes on the crash.
It looks really smashing. We played on console and on PC, and it looks really, really good.
I was saying, like, Theed, the only map I've played is the Theed one, and it looks better than it did in The Phantom Menace.
Well, that's not too hard to understand, is it? I mean,
but it's being done in real time, whereas I guess they probably had render farms going for weeks to render that stuff back in 1997.
How big is that armor?
Throwing grenade.
Any particular multiplayer highlights from your time?
We did a whole bunch of arcade mode. So there's an arcade mode which you can like fiddle with the settings, to play out different scenarios. But we were playing arcade mode, split screen. So it's nice to get split screen. You always want your split screen. In duel.
Right.
So like hero villain duel,
Nice.
which is just so much fun for just like clattering each other with lightsabers.
Something's coming. One lightsaber.
I can really imagine just like tooling around in it with a friend over, because you're like, yeah, what happens if Yoda fights Kylo Ren? Why not? You know, all these non-canonical duels, which is what Luke and I did an awful lot of.
So who's the best hero?
Well, you'll have to wait and see, because we've got a battle royale in which we sicked all the villains on all the heroes in a sort of tournament tree to find out who was the ultimate hero or villain. And that video will be going up a bit later, so you can find out who's the ultimate and bestest of all.
Finally settled.
It's Bosk. Spoiler. No, it's not Bosk.
I love Bosk. He's amazing.
Bosk is in it.
Okay,
but I will spoil that little bit.
Boss gets
fragment.
absolutely murked minutes
maybe,
into it.
Maybe.
Observe. Your whole system is failing.
You're playing as a baddie in this one, apparently.
That's cool. I like games where you get to be a bad guy sometimes.
You? You wouldn't even let me blow up that nun in Red Dead Redemption.
I said sometimes.
As a rule, I don't want to spend a whole game playing as a cackling, swivel-eyed villain, but as they say, a change is as good as a rest, which is why I need an occasional break from being a heroic do-gooder to be a balls-to-the-wall baddie. Luckily others agree, as evidenced by the number of games that let you be the bad guy. Remember with us now, our 5 favourite times being bad was the best.
Plans, plans, plans. They always have their plans. But the problem with that plan is that when you take an insane person to the asylum, you're just taking him home.
Batman is cool and all, but he's just so gosh darn serious. Like, come on Batman, who died? Oh, right. But at least the hero Gotham really deserves is here to perk things up a bit in the PS3 version of Arkham Asylum. In a piece of DLC called Play as the Joker, that they were up all night naming I bet, you take on a series of challenge maps as the Clown Prince of Crime, running amok in the asylum, taking out guards with gadgets that you definitely won't find in the Batcave, like poison gas, exploding false teeth, and electric joy buzzers. And if all of that isn't enough, you can just pull out a massive gun and shoot people! Why didn't you ever think of that, Batman? It's a lot easier. If you played The Evil Within, you'll remember the Keeper, a guy whose head is so precious he has to keep it in a safe so no one can steal it. Also, he wants to kill you. However, in the game's Executioner DLC, the tables were turned. You got to play as the Keeper in a first-person mode where it was you methodically plodding up to people and smashing them in the face with a meat tenderizer, for a change. There was some sort of meta layer in there about how you weren't actually the Keeper, just inhabiting his body in the brain-linking simulation known as STEM, so you could get your daughter back, or something, but try telling that to all these zombies getting a hammer in the face. Who's running scared now, zombies? Oh, what, me again? How does this always happen?
I'd killed nobles before. You could float a whaling ship, and the high-born blood I've spilled. Another noble steps in to replace the last one. All equally corrupt. Why should an empress be different?
Our opinion of Dowd the Assassin may have mellowed a bit since the first Dishonored, in which our initial impression wasn't super positive on account of him murdering the Empress. Not cool! Even so, the first game's DLC called Knife of Dunwall gave us the chance to play as the Michael Madsen-voiced assassin himself on a mission to atone for his dark deeds.
I tried to forget what I'd done to the Empress and her little girl. But there was no forgetting.
Which means we can feel okay about using his supernatural powers to zip around the place murdering people with our gang of supernatural assassins. Atonement is the best, you guys.
Locate and stop the intruder from entering the security area. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill.
That was all.
In Sonic games, we spend so much time blowing up Dr. Robotnik, but has anyone ever actually taken the time to sit down and try to see things from the perspective of the lavishly mustachioed Eggman? I mean, no, obviously not, that would be ridiculous. And yet you can't deny he's got some dope technology at his disposal, which is why it's such a refreshing change to play as him in the dark story of Sonic Adventure 2, in which you stamp around in a mobile battle walker, generally ruining people's days. Just as long as nobody jumps on me 8 times, I'm good. Spider-Man is definitely the best superhero, don't at me, but what if you don't like spiders? What if, instead, you're into, say, lizards? Well, good news, because the Amazing Spider-Man game has DLC which allows you to play as Dr. Kurt Connors, aka the Lizard, and rampage around causing chaos without any of the great responsibility that came with great power that's been holding Spidey back for so long. Don't see what's so great about it. Unfortunately, it's the stupid lizard design from the Amazing Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield, but hey, can't have everything. Odd though this is, it's far from the weirdest DLC available for The Amazing Spider-Man. That'd be the one where you play as 94-year-old Spider-Man creator Stan Lee as he acrobatically flips his way around New York City, searching for his missing script pages.
Alistair Smythe should have used his creativity in a better way, like writing comic books, for instance.
I guess you write what you know?
Now it's time to see what's written in the comments and in the new seasonal latte menu at our local coffee place.
Panettone spice.
Nice.
Santa Claus.
Okay.
And wrapping paper.
This has gone too far.
So let's move quickly on to the comments on this video in which we played spooky cyberpunk thriller Observer.
Bathtub. Oh, it's like dinner bathtub. Look, that's
oh,
nice.
Finally I got my dinner.
You sit in the bath and you eat your dinner.
What a
and
genius
the toilet's
invention.
right there when you need it. So.
I'll pay you whatever the price.
Oh,
there's the voice in the toilet.
No. Not interested in listening to toilet ghosts.
It's a werewolf! Commenter, technically a nerd, likes the way you handled things there, Andy, saying, there's a voice in the toilet. Nope. Shuts lid. Andy is the sensible protagonist in a horror film.
It's common sense. Nothing good ever speaks to you from a toilet.
Words to live by.
That's true, it could be anyone.
It doesn't live
without a head.
Yeah, how would you know?
Birthmarks,
Can't even check the dental records.
Commenter Adam Mitalinsky digs your detective skills, Mike. He says, victim's head is missing. Mike, check dental records.
I mean, like, maybe his head is wrapped in them or something?
Sure.
Meanwhile, commenter Jacob J. McKenzie is feeling all nostalgic watching this video, saying, the bit where Harrison Ford gleefully hits cupboard doors into each other is also my favourite scene in Blade Runner.
Oh look, I can knock the doors into each other.
Oh, that's fun.
That's such physics. All these moments will be lost in time, like tears in the rain.
In that case, we'd better move on to the comments on last week's show about Wolfenstein: The New Colossus and the alternate timelines where technology was worse.
The other way in which alternative history makes a mess of things is when the timeline takes technology in a different direction that is dumb and/or dangerous. Just take a look at these dead ends of technological development and tell me you wouldn't rather have helicopters, Snapchat, and automatic doors.
Commenter Andy McPhee has his own suggestion, saying, the weird technology in the Metal Gear series is still my favourite. It's like if all the greatest minds in the world worked for different PMCs, one-upping each other with crazy gadgets and robots.
Could the greatest minds in the world not come up with anything better than a cardboard box?
Ah, correction. A cardboard box with a picture of a lady on it.
Oh, okay, fair enough. On the subject of Bioshock Infinite's automatic stallions, commenter The Elizabethan says, why are we complaining about the robot horses in Bioshock Infinite? At least those poor real horses got a break and didn't have to deal with the terror of living on a crazed Zeppelin city. Was I the only one paying attention to the message in Black Beauty about the plight of carriage horses?
Actually, that's a good point. Do we ever see a real horse in Colombia?
Just that one in the pre-release demo.
How's it doing?
Not well.
Bartaz commenter Nummy Numbers points out there is another advantage. Do robot horses poop? AKA Philip K. Dick's lost novel.
Soon to be a hit movie starring Ryan Gosling.
Finally this week, your comments on this video about the pointless activities in games by which we got seriously sidetracked.
We're constantly getting sidetracked from our critical mission by fun but ultimately pointless noodling around with non-essential activities. In fact, before we jump into the feature, why don't I real quick just flip these 52 Pokemon cards into the nearest waste paper
Do your job.
Procrastination.
Commenter Tick for Tea submits the following hypothesis. I have this working theory that Oxbox and Oxtra are in fact the results of Mike, Jane, Andy, Ellen and Luke taking their video game procrastination to entirely new levels.
Right, I mean it's one thing to do all the weird side quests in a video game, but to then go and make YouTube list videos about them, that's next level.
Commenter Ben Say meanwhile has his own suggestion, saying, Fallout 4 modding, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I think I do.
Is there a possibility he wasn't referring to Macho Man Randy Savage Deathclaws?
Don't think so.
Okay, finally commenter Kathy Aird writes to say, I stopped listening to Jump Up Superstar from Mario Odyssey so I could watch this. It was the hardest decision I've ever made.
Why not do both?
Do you want to turn it down a bit? You're shouting.
No, I'm not.
Alright, I'll catch you later.
About 11:30. Jump up in the air. Jump up, don't be scared.
Well, that's all from Show of the Week. Thanks for watching. And before you go, my researches into the ancient art of palmistry indicate that the viewer's like button line is dangerously short.
Oh no. Is there anything they can do?
Well, it's risky, Mike, but they can press the like button.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
boy. Okay, how about some lunch then?
Oh, I can't wait. Xbox One X just arrived.
Did you just put an X on a regular Xbox One?
No, this is real. It's got volumetric God rays.
Sure. Okay. Well, I might just go for lunch then. You enjoy?
Oh, could you put these 4K stickers on the TV as you go?
Okay. All right.
All of them, to be sure.